Hello, my name is Katie, and I'm a 50-year-old woman, currently residing in Florida. It has been over 30 years that I have been living here, as I wanted to marry off early to my high school sweetheart. He only passed away from a cardiac arrest 3 years ago, and I have been the neighborhood-friendly widow ever since. It was hard to adjust at first, but slowly and steadily, it sunk into me. We did not have any children, and my parents did not live in the same city as us, and I did not want to permanently leave the marvelous villa that Dave, my husband, and I built with our own hands with so much passion. So naturally, after his death, I started to live alone. Well, almost alone. One day, I found two adorable kittens abandoned on the street, right outside the garden. I felt sad and tried to coddle them up in my arms. A strong, warm, and fuzzy feeling just brushed over me. I decided to take them in, and that's how Molly and Joseph started to live with me. But oh boy, little did I know that one of them was a male and the other a female. As they grew up, they started mating and procreating until I had to get their surgeries done. We were officially a family of one middle-aged woman and 11 cats. Although I did nothing but enjoy their company, the neighborhood surely didn't. I was soon given an unofficial nickname, the Crazy Cat Lady. It was all jokes and games, nothing insulting ever. The kids of my neighbors sometimes dropped by after school to play with Molly, Joseph, and their kids. And I did not mind either. Besides, Dave, my late husband, was a pretty out-of-the-box thinking and fun-loving person too. I'm sure that he would have appreciated it if he were around. Things were going pretty well. In May, one of our rich neighbors announced that her daughter Emily was about to get married, and we could have a big fat destination wedding in Hawaii. The flight carrying the entire wedding crew, including all of us, was to leave on July 1st. Everyone got super excited and started preparing for Emily's wedding. I had witnessed Emily's parents' marriages, then her birth, and then her gradual growth into a woman, and, hence, I was ecstatic too. She would be the first of the next generation of kids to get married. It would mark the end of the beginning of an era. I started looking for pet crutches near me because, as much as I would like to take them, I was sure that the flight wouldn't allow the cats. Luckily, I found one soon, just 10 minutes walking distance from our colony, but we still booked a cab to transport all of my precious babies to the animal crèche. More specifically, the house cat crèche. The owner, William, was an old student of Dave's, so I knew him well, and I was relieved knowing that my cats were in good hands. We all started packing and preparing, and then the day finally arrived. The whole colony, including myself, boarded flight number 162 and left for Hawaii. It was a memorable and magical week. Who could have ever thought beaches and weddings could go together? There was a bridal shower, an engagement ceremony, bachelorette parties, photo shoot dates, and whatnot. After a fun-filled couple of days, the wedding day finally arrived, and we could all not be more glad for the couple. They exchanged vows, had the sweetest kiss, and just like that, they were husband and wife. It was like a flashback to my own wedding with Dave, and the memories were rushing through my heart. After a night of dancing and enjoying the tropical weather, all of us flew back to Florida with hearts pumped with joy. Everything was more than good, and then something else happened. Since the trip had been long and pretty hectic with all the partying that my body could take at this age, I planned to take rest for a day or two and then only bring back my little cats, just so that I could take care of them better. But just when I tried to enter my house, I saw that there was no lock present. Someone had broken in. At first, I thought that there might be a burglar or something. But then I heard music blasting off from the living room area as well as the flashing disco lights. I could only understand this because due to the country's time difference when we landed in Florida, it was 2 a.m. and when I was entering the house, it was 3 a.m. as the airport is a 1-hour drive. This was so bizarre and infuriating. I immediately went into the house and found at least 15 teenagers raving about, screaming and partying in my house. I immediately pulled the plug. The music stopped. The leader-like Karen girl, who looked like she was in her early 20s, turned on the lights and walked straight up to me, annoyed that I interrupted their misdemeanor. That's when I saw it. The whole room was littered with napkins, beer bottles, pizza crusts, and other leftover garbage. It didn't even look like my place anymore. Before I could even think of something else, this weirdly dressed punk Karen chick started talking to me. Karen: "Hey, who are you and what are you doing at my party?" Her breath was stinking of alcohol and I was disappointed in her already. Me: "What do you mean by your party? Who are you?" Karen: "Don't you know who I am? My name is Olivia and I live here. These are my friends and we are having my birthday party. Woohoo!" Her drunk as a dead deer friends took her cue and cheered the woohoo further. I was tired from the trip. My luggage was sitting outside the door, and I was having to deal with this at past 3 a.m. in the night. Just imagine. Me, deciding to have some fun with it. "Really? Because I live next door, and I've never seen you before. And I would know you because I would be your neighbor. Are you sure you live here?" Olivia, bamboozled: "Oh, yeah, no. What I mean by live here is that I live here in this colony only. See that red house over there, pointing in a random direction? That is my actual house. See, you wouldn't know me because I was homeschooled, but I'm sure you know my father." Me, disgusted as usual: "Really? I wonder who would that be? Can you tell me his name?" Olivia: "I don't remember." Me: "That's it. I think we've made it clear that the house isn't yours. May I know how you dare enter someone else's house and litter it like it was your own garbage garden? What is wrong with you guys?" Olivia: "Who are you to get so mad about it?" Me: "Because this is my house." Olivia: "That's not true." Me: "Yes, it is. Now clean this mess up and get out, or I will call the cops on you." Olivia, laughing hysterically: "And who do you think you are to boss me, Olivia, around? I have taken permission." Me: "What? Whose permission did you take to be here?" Olivia: "The permission of the landlord, silly." Tries to pat me on the back. Me: "Okay, what landlord? Who is it?" Olivia: "The person who stays here, Mr. David Copperfield." Me: No, that's a movie based on a book." Olivia: "Oh, sorry. Is somebody named Dave, I guess?" Me, a little scared: "How did you take his permission?" Olivia: "I don't remember." Tries to fall asleep on my arm. Me, annoyed: "Oh God, what are you doing? Get off of me." Olivia, startled awake: "I need Stacy." Stacy? Where are you, Stacy?" Another girl from the headache-inducing party mob came forward trying to talk to me. Stacy, equally drunk: "Yes, what do I do to help, Olivia?" Olivia, literally at the top of her voice: "This old hag barged into my party. Is not letting me sleep." Starts crying. Please make her go away." Me, kind of at my breaking point: "Hey, what do you mean, old hag? Just cut it out." Olivia: "Cut who? Cut what? Out?" Me, "I live here, and I have been dealing with all kinds of nonsense for a long time now. The only reason is that I wanted to be as kind as humanly possible to you guys. But you are not just making it hard, but barely bearable. So cut it out. Cut out the crap and move it." Everyone suddenly goes silent when this Olivia girl suddenly speaks while trying to be rebellious. Olivia: "No, I don't buy it. I have taken permission from Dave the landlord to occupy this house for my birthday party, and I'm not going anywhere until I speak with him." It suddenly clicked into place. I remember that the door of our house had never been changed, even after Dave's death. So even today, the nameplate outside the main gate of our home still spelled out Mr. Dave Crosby and Mrs. Katie Crosby. That's it. That was it. That is how Olivia and her gang figured out the name of the landlord. An evil idea suddenly struck the chord of my brain. Calmly, I started talking to them again. Me. Dave has given you the green signal for partying here. That's what you said, right? Olivia, proudly. Yes. Me. Great. Come with me to the top floor master bedroom. Olivia. No, not again. Me. What do you mean, not again? Olivia. Actually, we already tried infiltrating that place. It's a digital lock and probably opens with a phone password. The doors are really heavy. You won't be able to break it in there. We already tried. Me. I have the digital lock password. Come with me. They all looked at each other in disbelief. Olivia. Really? I don't trust you. Me. Fine, I'm going up. You can come and check with your own eyes if you want proof. I started climbing the stairs with a smirk. I knew that they would follow behind. In a minute or two, we were in front of the master bedroom. Olivia. Now what? Me. Magic. I opened the app and pressed a few buttons and the locks were unclicked. Olivia took a step backward. I pushed the doors wide open for everyone to gape at the huge portrait of Dave on the bedroom wall, engraved with the letters, Dearly Beloved. Me. This is the bedroom of Dave you are talking about. He died over 2 years ago. You can check out our framed wedding day picture on my nightstand. Then they slowly turned towards it and were horrified to see that I had been right all along. It was fun to see how Olivia had gone from the overconfident Karen to the scaredy cat. The next part is pretty short and hilarious because they tried to run away, and I shut the door with the digital lock and somehow was able to make them think that they had littered late Dave's house. If they leave before cleaning it up, all of them will be cursed by him and doomed to live a life haunted by the ghost of Dave forever. They quietly and swiftly cleaned the room in literally less than half an hour, picked up all of their stuff, and ran away with leaps and sprints. I finally had my 2-day rest, and the neighborhood had the funniest story to tell around for weeks. My dad, 61-year-old male, is the most entitled a-hole that I have ever seen in my life. So we're off to a good start. Today, he came angry, furious I might say, and he just kept citing and hitting things so one of us would ask what was wrong. My mother volunteered and asked, and he started angrily explaining. Here's how it went according to him. He went to get an espresso in a big cafe. It was crowded, which made him annoyed, but he didn't mind because obviously the waiters will serve him first. He's just a regular citizen. Nothing to him makes people rush to his service, but anyway. He waited for almost 5 minutes before any of the busy waiters noticed him and took his order. The waiter who served him brought him his espresso in a paper cup. That's how espresso is served in this type of coffee shop in my country. It wasn't out of the norm or unexpected. Mr. Karen did not like this because all the other coffee shops where he usually goes to for 20 years, they serve it to him in a small coffee mug, the French way. And this ignorant, useless server, his words, didn't know that he liked it that way. So the wisest thing to do now was to throw a tantrum, of course, and the waiter apologized, took the coffee back, and served him a new one in a small cup with a small plate. I forget their name. But hold on, this is where it got real. The waiter shook the cup while walking with it, and a tiny amount of coffee went into the plate, and my dad saw it as he got served. Did not taste the coffee or try to just accept it as is. Instead, he took the coffee and threw it on the waiter and started yelling at him. He was very proud, telling this part like he had defended himself against the biggest bully on the planet. He then told us that he didn't stop yelling at the young man and kept going as everyone stopped to watch until the owner showed up. The owner asked what was wrong, and my dad wasn't having it. He demanded that they fire the waiter for being unprofessional before he starts talking to the owner and accept their apology along with an offer for settlement. Usually his stories are like a very strange monologue, so we had no questions asked. Just his story with a lot of anger and entitlement, and ended it with how he left the coffee shop and prayed that God punishes them that they just lost an important customer. On the bright side, the waiter didn't get fired and Mr. Karen didn't get coffee. This happened a few decades ago. I had been somewhere with my friends, and afterwards they invited me to visit their home for a while in the evening. We stopped by a corner store for snacks, and while perusing the goodies, I felt like I wet myself. I was full term and my water broke. Not bad, a slow leak, but a pretty good sign that my baby would be here quite soon. I told my friend with whom I was riding, and then we went to her house. I thought it was to drop her kids off with her husband, and that she would take me to the hospital. When we arrived, we went inside and I told her, okay, now I need to get to the hospital. I knew this because I had already been a few days before for a false labor, and the doctor told me it will be any day now. Her response absolutely blew me away. She said, no, you can have it here. Cool as a cucumber. Since I was getting into a more advanced phase of labor pretty quickly, I couldn't remain standing. So she got me some towels for me to sit on, so I wouldn't get her sofa wet while sitting on it. She was seriously going to force me to have her baby at her house. I told her again, I need to get to the hospital. But she wouldn't budge. Well, I wasn't willing to do this at her house, with her husband there and all the kids. I had a doctor and hospital all arranged, and last second, she decides to hold me hostage and force me to do this at her house? I said that I need to use the phone. There were no cell phones then, so I used her house phone and called my mom and covered my phone with my mouth with my hand and spoke very quietly, whispered directly into the phone. I'm at so-and-so's house. My water broke, and she is refusing to take me to the hospital. My mom quickly replied, I'll be right there. She didn't live far, so in a few minutes there was a knock at the door. They answered and my mom said, I'm here to get my daughter. She brought a friend and neighbor with her. They burst into the door, and one on each side, they grabbed me and carried me to the car. The labor was so advanced I could barely stand anymore. They were racing to the hospital and got me there just in time to get me prepped and call my doctor. The doctor made it on very short notice, and in a few minutes my new baby was here. But what she did was infuriating to me. It just sucked the joy out of my whole experience. After that, I knew that she could not be trusted. I did not go to a doctor and make arrangements to have a safe birth and protect my baby in case there were any last-minute problems, just to have someone hijack my baby's birth and force me to do what she decided just because I was stuck with her at that time. And she made no efforts at her house to get anything ready. I guess she was just going to have this happen on the dirty floor. I don't know. What she did was so strange. Who does that? Who hijacks someone in labor and holds them hostage and forces them to forego the sanitary hospital where all birth emergencies can be dealt with by an experienced physician and hospital staff and all the benefits of advanced medical care one has access to in a hospital?